Hello and welcome back to another episode of Life Writing with A. Today, in observance of National Poetry Month, author and poet Nathaniel Terrell is back on the podcast to share some of his poetry and some other tidbits with respect to National Poetry Month. Welcome back, Nate. How's it going?
Not bad, Chris. Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, always good to have you on here. I was sharing a little while ago. I want to do more of these type of segments, specifically around poetry, because in part, poetry on the heels of journaling is where this all came from, right? Lifewriting.com started with journaling, morphed into poetry, and it hovered around poetry for probably close to a decade until the podcast came about. So there's a special significance with respect to poetry. What's the latest since your last appearance? What's cooking?
First of all, man, I'm happy to be here. Once again, man, thank you for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure when we link. What's next is I'm currently writing my fifth book. I haven't had a title for it, but I'm a couple of poems in. I'm applying for residencies, fellowships, entering contests, different publications, trying to promote what's in my next book, which is going to be out in May, Presence of Mind. I'm sending poems off to there, trying to get publication and trying to get more eyes on it. So just working, really.
That's how we do it. Well, again, congrats.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Now the book in itself, what any additional news around that you care to share?
No, it's Presence of Mind. It's actually it'll be a year from the date that I published Before the World Moves On. And in between there was Is There Not a Call? So this will be my third publication in a year. So I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of that. And it's not like I rushed it. It's just the work kept coming to me. So I wanted to get it out. And I knew I was close. And I said, I could put it off, but let's try and get it in a year. So May 20th will be an exact year from when Before the World Moves On was published. And this one gets a little bit more political. I take a stand on some issues. Well, not a stand, but
Okay.
I speak on some things, and you know what I mean. I get deeper. It's deeper. What's the word? Introspection or deeper reflection, I should say.
The older I get, I want to be as transparent, but more importantly, as authentic as possible. So I say all of that to say, the older I get tired of watering things down. But I like, public, discourse. I can agree to disagree. I'm not gonna beat anyone up. I'm not gonna badger you about a particular thing or whatever. And I kind of share this too because I've noticed some of my latest poems have a couple of pieces are dealing with politics. I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. And I got to put you on the spot, Nate. We got it. It's National Poetry Month, so we got to hear at least one of your pieces.
All right, I got one. This one I really enjoy writing because I won't say it's personal, but it's a powerful piece that came to me, and I'm really glad I wrote it. It was fun putting this one together, and it's called Higher and Higher.
Higher and higher.
Higher and higher.
I like that. Okay.
All right. It goes like this. I was cool with playing my position because I fit, knowing full well I did not belong. How did I stay the course when I was weak? I kept telling myself that I was strong. The algorithm hates me. God commissioned me. Through darkness, I will shine. I listened to this information without interrupting. Emotions cut off my rebuttal as I opine. Words are words, no matter how eloquently spoken. Actions and reactions overrule what sounds great. Prayer and fasting, my defense against spiritual attacks. I can feel the heat from hate. I have exclusive rights to my time and energy. How I feel was the least of my concerns. Some situations birth chaos. Once I found a woman of virtue, I was thankful for the times that I was curved. Last year, the movement started. It sustained and carried over. I enjoy watching the final hour go up in smoke. I will raise frequencies with my voice. Angels guard my back. Impossible lies under my toes.
Brother, there's a lot to unpack in that one. And I mean that in a great way. There's a lot of similes in there. I like the metaphors. Do you care to share just a piece of, be it one line or whatever, like what you were feeling? One can kind of surmise that, but I don't want folks to guess. Can you just share any piece of that and kind of the inspiration behind it?
A lot of this was, well, I wrote this, I want to say maybe right after New Year.
Mm.
It was very early on, and I was, I was stumbling with a bunch of ideas, and there was so much going on. So a lot of this is inspired by what was happening. And I was trying to write a positive piece during dark times because there was a lot going on. Like there's still a lot going on, but you know what I mean. There's all you got to do is turn on the news or get online, and you can see some of the atrocities, some of the things that are happening are just beyond comprehension. Or to the point is, man, why does it have to be so brutal? You know what I mean? For some people in certain situations. That's how this one was inspired. I wanted to write something positive, almost an anthem, something to encourage maybe myself and definitely others.
Now, I really love what you mentioned there. Your statement about like an anthem. So do you find yourself at times when you write, you want, I don't know, be it a certain fashion of people to accept it in a certain way and apply, the concepts behind it?
Like, I mean, it's not like I want anybody to do anything except think. You know what I mean? Think and empathize. Look at situations more from your point of view. You know what I mean? You have to look at things from multiple angles. To me, you know what I mean? That's where wisdom comes in because if I'm just looking at how I feel, like you said, I'm open to something what we were talking about earlier when you were talking about the civil discourse and you know what I mean, conversations. We're at a point now where if I disagree with what you say, I'm not trying to hear anything you have to say. All I know is I disagree and I'm going to find every reason to fight it instead of, well, trying to understand, well, why do you feel that way? What's your experience? You know what I mean? Where are you coming from with that? And when we sit down and have those conversations, we're both learning because I might see something, wow, I never looked at it like that or thought about it like that, and vice versa. And that's how we grow. But if we're still, no, I'm not trying to heal cancer. Shut up. I don't want to talk about this. Now let's fight. That's wild, bro. Especially the older we get. At least,
Especially
in
the
my
older.
opinion.
When I write, be it poetry, a short story, or whatever, it's to inform, right? Providing information derived from, be it credible sources or derived from my lived experiences. And we all have, different experiences, and I love hearing about, folks, what they may have overcame, challenges that they may have had, and then how it helped them. I want to ask you this too, Nate. Do you, like, when it comes to writers, right? I'm talking writing it broadly. Do you ever like get like writer's block, um, even with your poetry, or and does it become, I don't want to say difficult, but just to paint the picture, if it does, like, how do you deal with that? How do you get past it?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Yeah, there are periods where I don't like maybe for a couple weeks I might go through something. I'm like, man, I'm not writing anything. You know what I mean? Nothing is coming to me creatively. So when that usually happens, I try to incorporate, exercise. I watch documentaries, try and read, think, meditate, try and do a couple of those. Like I put on a couple documentaries and I'll at least have maybe a few ideas coming. Maybe I might pick up the Bible or you know what I mean, something that I've already read before just to try and, I don't know, trigger something.
I I I can relate. I can relate. And I full disclosure, when I do get like a writer's block, if you will, I have to step away, or I may gain a little inspiration. I have a book of poems. It's primarily comprised of poetry stemming from the Harlem Renaissance, and reading those poems of those poets, County Cullen. I find some inspiration. Oftentimes, I find inspiration from them to unblock myself and to gain that inspiration. And I would even grab someone's books like Nathaniel Terrell.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate it.
So for me to read someone's material who I have that creative type of relationship with, bro, you talk about inspiration, and then thinking back to previous conversations we've had, either on the podcast itself. So I just wanted to share that with you, something that I've never shared before, but it only makes sense to me, right?
It does. I appreciate that, man. But things inspire me the same. Like you were saying, this week I couldn't come up with anything, and a lot of times writing to me is a form of therapy too. So I just wanted to get something out. So I'm going through the queue. What can I watch? What can I watch? I came on Netflix, and I can't remember the exact name of it. I watched it before, but it's the documentary about Robert Johnson, the blues singer that has supposedly sold his soul to the devil. So I'm watching this documentary. It's only about 45 minutes, maybe almost an hour. And after I got done writing it, I got inspired and I wrote 2 pieces. They're not finished yet, but I started one and I finished the other. And I'm like, wow, man, watching this was able to trigger something where I was trying to tell a story, you know what I mean? Of course, I incorporated, you know what I mean, his story into what I was trying to tell. Once it's polished, man, if I'm back on, I'll share it on your show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And speaking of, like you're in the New York area, right?
Right outside of Rochester.
What, say again?
I said I'm right outside of Rochester.
That's right. Yes, yeah. So thinking of picturing you in New York and mentioning the Harlem Renaissance. Did you know this is the 30th anniversary this year of National Poetry Month?
No, I didn't know that.
Yep. And throughout this month, there will be a lot of activities and shows, performances based around, of course, poetry throughout New York City proper, but specifically throughout the Harlem, the upper, some of the upper boroughs. And I plan to partake in one of those, and I'll keep you posted too. So hopefully we can coordinate.
When you say partake, are you going to be speaking, reading, or you? Oh,
no. So I'm glad you asked that, because I shouldn't say no like that, because there are some open mic kind of.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So let me back up. Now I answered the way I did because, in all honesty, I hadn't envisioned myself like doing it. But I am going to publicly put the challenge out there to myself. I will jump on a mic that's open and share some of my poetry. And I think, Brother Nate, you should do the same.
Now, what date? What date can we talk?
I'll make sure you have. You've been writing since about how long? Like,
I got serious about in 09.
About 09, 2009. So I categorize that as being a seasoned writer, right? Especially you having now being a published author several times over. Your experience, you understand the publishing aspect of it, all of the little nuances from not just poetry, but the business side of it as well. So aspiring poets and writers, for them to like better position themselves with respect to everything I just said, writing the poetry, getting it published or on some type of platform in itself, what would you tell or share with them? What are some of the things that you would tell have them to be on the lookout for?
Oh man, there's so many different avenues you can go. I mean, you can go the traditional way where you sign with the publisher and they take care of pretty much, everything. You can do it the subsidiary way where you pay to have your book published through a publisher. You could do it independently where you pay all on your own. I mean, I would do my research and find the way that would work best for me as far as writing. Um Right. Just write, read, get informed, get outside, touch grass, communicate with people. I mean, a lot of my writing is based on experience, time, imagination, memories. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, just get immersed, get better at your craft. You got to keep going at it. You know what I mean? Do it every day. If not every day, as much as you can. The more you do, the better you're going to get at it. So, and understand that you're going to face rejection after rejection after rejection. That's it's part of the process. You know what I mean? Don't be discouraged and don't quit. It takes a while. It takes a while to find success.
So Nate, thanks for sharing that. The rejection that you're touching on there is like in what capacity? On the publishing side, finding the company, but like what were you
I mean, in
referring
all
to?
aspects, you know what I mean? We all think, especially when I know it used to hurt my feelings when I first started because I'm thinking, oh, this is the dopest piece. They're going to love this. I can't wait. Sorry. You know what I mean? The rejection letter always starts the same. Thank you for your interest in such and such. We regret to inform you that is, you know what I mean? So, yeah, get used to it. Not that, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I shouldn't say don't get used to the rejection, but just understand it's part of the process, is what I'm saying. You're gonna have wins, you're gonna have good ones, and you might possibly get published, but there is a chance, a big chance, that you're gonna go through a series of rejections and people aren't gonna understand it, especially if you're sensitive about your work. Be open to criticism, be open to
Yeah.
constructive criticism.
Another quick question. So what is there a platform or a forum, any type of entity out there that comes to mind that a person could go to, they could be a part of to, join that community if they've yet to do so, or just want to get an idea of what the landscape looks
I
like?
would look online. There's so many different you mean like writing groups and stuff like that?
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's tons. You can go to Medium, Substack, Submittable. You could just type in. I mean, I've noticed on Threads, there's a lot of writing groups on Threads, Instagram, um Goodreads. There's different type of book clubs as far as open mic and stuff like that. I would just look in whatever location you are, see if there's any poetry spots. Sometimes bars have the open mic nights with poetry night.
Right.
um YouTube, you could find a lot of your people that do spoken word in different clubs and stuff like that. You can find them on YouTube. There's all different kind of places. I'm not big into the spoken word scene, but I have
Okay.
seen different outlets and forums like
Okay.
that. I would just go by city or whatever area you're from.
So here's the reason why I asked that. You would be amazed, or not, how many emails and messages I get akin to that. Folks asking like, so hey, what do you recommend I should go, or what platform, should I go to expose myself or present some of my work? And I'm like, guys, this this is the information age for one, but you got everything at your fingertips. And I think a lot of it is attributed to just folks being, I'll just use the word scared, nervous, reluctant to put themselves out there.
I mean, as far as being published, you could go to the platform Submittable and just make sure you go under literary. And I mean, there's thousands of places you can go to for manuscripts, for fiction, nonfiction, poetry, spoken word, grants. It's a database where you can really just type in what you're looking for. And it comes with hundreds, I mean, if not thousands of different magazines, anthologies, online. A couple of publications I can think of off my head is Maz Magazine, MAS. They accept poetry, stories, I think artwork. K-Tel, K-Tel Inc. She does a magazine. Exposed Brick Literary, Maudlin House, the Blunt Space.
Thanks for laying all of those out. And I'm going to make sure I run this back and capture as many of them as possible as well. And just to share to some for some of to and for some of the younger guys. So Nate, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up, brother. This has been some great information, very insightful. You touched on a couple things initially, but coming full circle with this podcast, what's on the horizon? What's next?
What's next? I really want to do is I want to make an album. I want to do a spoken word album. I was thinking about doing audio books, but for my own reasons, I don't want to do audio book. I want to put them in an album form. I'm really trying to get, like I said, trying to get a residency so it can help me with the next book that's coming after Presence of Mind, because I want to do something different. I want to be in a different mind frame, different experience. So I'm applying for residencies, fellowships, and just trying to grow. I'm trying to network, link with other creatives and do something different. You know what I mean? Coming in the future, I would like to be able to do a live show with other poets. I would like to link with musicians, you know what I mean? Other spoken word singers, you know what I mean? And do something.
Nice.
I got some ideas. Hey, before we get off, can I read one more? One's called Power of a Praying Woman.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
I was freed from a terrifying nightmare by the fervent prayers of the righteous. In this nightmare, I was trapped in the chamber of hell with Satan and his most powerful demons, with nowhere to hide and nowhere to run. My cries to God echoed back to me. I was surrounded. I was sick. I thought I was done. Suddenly, there appeared a man walking through hell's hottest fire. It was an incredible sight to see. Satan and all his demons bowed, but he paid them no mind. His eyes were fixed on me. He said, I love you, my child, but this is the last time I'm saving you, should you decide to go astray. I woke up next to my woman, calling on Jesus, covering me as I lay. She held me close. I told her I loved her. Then I ran to the bathroom to splash cold water on my face. I told God, thank you. Lord, I can't promise I will go to church, but starting now, I will change my ways. That's what I wanted to tell a story, man. So I got a little creative with that one. That one was fun putting together. I enjoyed putting that one together.
And not to take anything away from the first one you shared with us, but to end it with that one. Oh, yeah, that it. Like I said before, full circle. That was perfect, brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Continue to be proud of you. I've seen your work. Your posts throughout Facebook and Instagram in particular, YouTube especially. Keep it going, man. I'm definitely going to do my part with capturing this type of information from poets such as yourself, authors such as yourself, to make sure as many people as possible hear it, and not just hear it, feel what people are sharing out here. There's so much energy and emotions captured in these words, and that's what I like so much. The last thing I'll say, you mentioned several minutes ago how therapeutic writing is, and that's the main aspect of writing in general that I like sharing with everybody. It is just so therapeutic. Journaling for me morphed into poetry. And one other thing I would say, at the time that journaling turned into poetry, other folks saw on lifewriting.com the poetry that I was posting, and they wanted to post theirs. So I also use my lifewriting.com website to post poetry and various facets of poems and such. you forwarded several pieces over the years that I publicized. In fact, there's one of yours is probably posted now. So I thank you, my brother, for that. This was something God put on my heart back in 07, and it materialized in 08. Turned into so many different things in 09. What's that?
I said, look how far it's come. Look at what you've done with it since from then to now. God is good.
Exactly. Well, and I have to say it publicly. This part, is people like you who, have your own poetry, writing, short stories, or whatever, and have supported from the darn near the very beginning, right? So I'm thankful, to people like you, poets and authors like you, for even supporting it. So, and thanks as always for coming on here and sharing.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to read my work. I love, being able to share my work, man, especially with a different audience. You know what I mean? The more people, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. As we always say, anytime. Hey, we're both Joneses too. We found that out like the second time we got together. I'm like, how did I not know he was a Jones? I was like, what? So, hey, Brother Jones, your brother as well. You guys are doing some amazingly awesome and creative things. It's in you guys' genes. It's in the blood.
I appreciate you, brother.
So I'm here. I'm just happy that I could be a part of, folks' stories. That part of you guys' stories. So. Thanks again for coming on here, bro.
Absolutely. Anytime, brother.
And to the audience, thanks as always for tuning in. Like this video, leave a comment, and definitely share. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is another way we inform and inspire folks, helping them write the lives they desire. Keep producing that poetry and continue to take care of yourself. Have a good one.